Hi, everyone. I'm Emil Guillermo. I know you'd rather me be live so you can experience every plosive, feel every beat. Damn that Delta. Damn that Omicron. But we have to deal with this. And so I look like I'm in my private cockpit. Actually, it's more like a closet. I'm a closeted Filipino talking to you in front of a gong. We both have dimples, me and the gong. It's okay because, look, a Zoom makes the average Asian American about 6'2", which is an improvement. Now I can be the model minority. Okay, I tell jokes, but this isn't a joke monologue. Not like a late night joke monologue. It's more like a monologue in the tradition of the radio monologist Gene Shepard, or the stage monologist Spalding Gray, who performed with a mic and a desk, and I use headphones because it caresses my ears. Gray, who died at age 62, I actually started doing these at age 62. So sometimes I feel like I'm Spalding Gray coming back from the dead, talking about his life, or only like it's his life as a Filipino American. That could be a real nightmare. And maybe that's just karma because, you recall Spalding Gray did Gray's Anatomy, where Gray had a problem with his eyes, and he sought help by going to the Philippines to see a Filipino doctor who specializes in that sort of problem. Psychic healing of some sort in Manila. It looked like a disco more than a doctor's office, but that was rather bizarre. So bizarre they made it into a movie. With no Filipinos, just light and shadows and Spalding Gray. This show has one Filipino, me, as the French would say, c'est tout. And we're not on stage, but recorded as live in front of my aforementioned gong, my dimpled gong. Reaching out to you with a real story about Asian American Filipinos. This actually happened to me when a college crush called me out of the blue, but didn't remember who I was. I know, incredible, but true. It brought back a few memories for me. It's summertime, a few years back. I'm at the beach, California's Central Coast. It's my 30th wedding anniversary. My wife and our byproduct, the family, we're here for a reunion. Wife, 3 kids, all of us from all over the country have come together, maybe to remind us what a good idea it all was in the first place. Renting a rickety beach house, older than the marriage. I'm on the beach with my clothes on. You see, I'm a workaholic, to my wife's disdain. And the phone rings. It's a 617 number, Cambridge, Mass. Robocall? I'm in California. I can't resist. I pick it up. I answer. It's Harvard. Chloe? I know her, but she says, I don't really know you. I'm just calling from a list, but you're in the class, and are you coming to the reunion? Before I can even answer, she launches into how she has 2 kids, one who works for Google, so he's searchable and special, and a daughter who's even more special. And her husband, she met him as an upperclassman, of course, and they've been married forever, and they're not in therapy, they're therapists, and more special than everyone else. And after all that, she says, how are you? Do you want to be Facebook friends? And I'm thinking, this is why people who didn't go to Harvard hate certain people who did. What do I counter with? I married a white woman from Berkeley who is an executive for PETA, P-E-T-A, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and comes on Tucker Carlson's show, after which I make her sleep on the couch for a week. She actually goes on Tucker Carlson's show because they like to talk about animals at Fox. I mean, it is named after an animal, Fox. They don't care about real humans, but they care about animals. My 3 kids are Caucasian and Filipino. Cacapinos, and every one of them earned their soccer trophies. I spared Chloe the details, or she'd want them as clients. The truth is, this woman played a significant role in my Harvard life. I arrived at Harvard a fresh-faced kid from San Francisco, a Filipino immigrant son, and I was going places. The green lights were on. I met Chloe at a mixer and found her fetching. Not kvetching, fetching. We had arranged freshman year to go out for a coffee date out on the square. But when I knocked on her door, her roommate said she was busy washing her hair. What? You mean like that song in South Pacific? Can you wash a Filipino right out of your hair? I'm from the West Coast. I'm partial to wet. But I got the message. It didn't break my heart. Just crushed my spirit. Lost my nerve. Chloe's casual dismissal let in self-doubt, and I began to wonder if I really belonged. Or maybe she blew me off because I wasn't white. Maybe she didn't like her coffee with a little cream? Was I too latte or not enough latte? It's embarrassing to admit in hindsight that something so trivial impacted me so greatly, but it did. I completely shut down. To this day, I know I didn't graduate with white privilege. I had white voice privilege, which sounds like a quality, but it's a little like being in a Filipino Beatles tribute band. Freshman year, I just suffered. Had to find my way to a cure. I applied self-love, self-care. Not like an average freshman, but I managed to pull myself out of my tailspin. I had to be mindful on my own. You know, they don't teach you to be happy at Harvard. After that insignificant Chloe incident, only took me 4 years to find me again. That happened in my senior year when I signed up for an Asian history class. They let me study Filipino immigration. No textbooks. I had to go deep into the stacks at Widener Library. And there was my dad's story. He came in the 20s as a colonized American Filipino, a national, not a slave, but not a citizen, couldn't vote, own property, couldn't intermarry, not with whites. Filipinos were shot and lynched if they were caught with a white woman. There were few Filipino women, so a Filipino family was rare, which explained why my father was 50 years older than me. I mean, there were no women for him either. I always thought it was his plaid shirts. I didn't think it was racism. Didn't know it took courage to be Filipino in America. But learning that history gave me the courage to do the only thing I ever did at Harvard. I was also on the Lampoon because, Filipinos at Harvard, that's funny. And I was funnier than the president my year. I won the competition to give the Ivy Oration, the so-called Ivy Oration on class day, the very one that Conan O'Brien gave. The guy who gets to make fun of Harvard. Only with me, I wasn't going to use a rubber knife. I came out talking like this. Oh, it's so good to be here at Harvard. Oh, I'm talking like a Filipino, like my dad. And they're worried, is this the wrong speaker? But don't worry, because now I sound like this. Harvard man, America's corporate superhero, came in third world, left 2.5. And I got this huge laugh of approval. People were relieved that I spoke decent English and wasn't Filipino after all. They thought I was like them. But I wasn't. My father was in the front row. Sonny boy, you just gave Harvard the finger. Yeah, and it was worth it. Harvard, man, I wasn't. I was just my dad, A better version of him or me. That was my affirmative action. All that time I had Chloe on hold. So are you coming to the reunion of your Harvard family? Chloe asked me on the phone. I'm present right now with the real one. Okay, she says. So you want to be Facebook friends? I put down the phone and I took off my shirt. I'm at the beach. My wife turns to me. Who's on the phone? Robocall. A solicitor. Doesn't matter. Let's celebrate. I'm Emil Guillermo.